Hello, my name is Ian Contover, and this is the Current Buzz. Thank you for watching today. Today we have Dan Guttenplan. He's here to talk about the Parker Lecture Series. He's the director of the Parker Lecture Series, and not the World Series, the Parker Lecture Series. I know what's going on now. I just wanted to talk to you about, bring you in, talk to you about the Parker Lecture Series. Why did it start? When did it start? That type of thing, the historic aspect of it.
Sure.
But I just want to say for a second that I've been to Parker Lecture Series over the years, and there's a brochure that you should try to find, or it's online, right, Dan?
Yeah, we're at parkerlectures.com, and then at all of our events we'll bring these brochures, and then we also have them, some in the Pollard Library, some at the Visitor Center for the National Parks Visitor Center too.
What about the Chelmsford Library?
We should do that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right.
I have a bunch in my car, so maybe I'll swing by there on the way home today.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do that. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just printed this up because you're fairly new. This is the first year for you, right, Dan?
Yeah, so I took it over. Paul Lappin did this for 34 years. He was the director of the Parker Lecture Series.
We had him on the show.
Okay, yeah. So he did it, and then he just retired in June 1st. So I took over, and we printed these, I want to say, in the end of August. So yeah, we're ready to go now. We have everything scheduled for the 2024-25 calendar year, and we've got a pretty good program for this year. We've got you. I saw you at the one the other night.
Yep.
With Admiral Gilday. That was a really good.
That was great. You had about 200 or 300 people there.
I thought so. Yeah.
Surprised.
Yeah, it was a good turnout.
That was good. Yeah, I asked him some good questions.
Yes, you did. Yeah, that was very good.
I should have had him on the show or something. I'd have to talk to one of the family members because I happen to know one of the family members.
He had a ton of family there.
Show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does have a family. Admiral Gilday was from Lowell, Massachusetts. He went to the Naval Academy, and he was the Chief of Naval Operations. That's what they call it.
That's right, 32nd Chief of Naval Operations. So he was an advisor to the President Biden and President Trump.
Right. And he made a few interesting statements. I won't go into detail, but
yeah, the thing I like that he did the best at the end, he got everybody up and he said, you know, regardless of your political affiliation, I know there's an election coming up here in the next week, but he said, I would suggest that you vote with whoever you think is going to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. And then we started off and we kind of recited it together at the beginning of the
preamble.
Yes, yeah. So that was kind of a strong moment to close it out. And he was great. He went to the Boys and Girls Club during the day and spoke to students there that were interested in becoming a part of the military. And then he went to Lowell High School and spoke to the ROTC program.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had quite the day. And
were you with him all through the day? Oh, you were.
Yeah.
And I understand they had a luncheon for him. Is that?
They had a luncheon at the high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he went to the Boys and Girls Club, and then they had dinner at Cobblestones, and then we did like a VIP cocktail hour. So he had a full day.
Oh, I wish I knew that. I mean,
yeah.
So he had a few drinks, huh, before he got there.
I don't think he had any drinks, but some people did.
Oh,
yeah. No, if you were working that night, I don't think you had any drinks.
Oh, okay. All right. That was cool. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have Ed Davis coming in April, right?
Ed Davis is in April. He's going to be at the Middlesex Community College Donahue Family Performance Center, and they've been generous enough to offer us their theater this year, and I feel like Ed Davis will be another big draw. I don't know if it'll be as big as Admiral Gilday, excuse me. But yeah, Ed Davis, we're expecting, over 100 people, and that's
Commissioner.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, Commissioner Davis. He was the Boston police chief or commissioner as well. So, and he's from Lowell.
Yeah, and he was there during the bombings.
Right.
And it's 10 years or beyond 10 years. I can't remember.
I think it was 2014.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be 11 years this April.
Yeah, that's interesting. So. How does someone suggest who you should call in or have at venues that you have? Can they call you or email you and say, I have a suggestion?
Sure. Yeah. So my email is on the Parker Lectures homepage, parkerlectures.com. and I welcome suggestions all the time.
Right.
Also, some of these host sites, like, so we're going to be at the Pollard Library every year. We have a really good relationship with them. We want people in Lowell to come to the library and see all that the library has to offer. So we schedule 2 or 3 Parker lectures there a year.
Right.
And then what ends up happening is the director of the library will suggest, hey, here are 2 or 3 authors, local authors, from the Merrimack Valley or, Lowell, that are looking to promote their book. It's a really good book. It's on our shelves now. So we take suggestions from them. At the Whistler House, Sarah Bogosian recommended this one. Jonathan.
We had her on the show too.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
We have a lot of crossover.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Paul Lappin actually suggested a few of these to me because he knew I was kind of just starting in June. And, he did a good job of explaining the theme of the Parker Lecture Series and kind of the values that Moses Greeley Parker had when he established this endowment.
When did he establish it?
So it was 1917 is when he died.
7 years ago.
Yeah, and he established a trust. And he really wanted this series to be an opportunity for the citizens of Lowell to come and find out lectures that he both educated and entertained them. So it was supposed to be on the topics of medicine or city government, things like that would both entertain and inform the people of Lowell.
Right.
One of his, one of the things that he really wanted to do was promote any topics that would promote women, children, or immigrants. So that's also kind of the direction I tried to go in. Last week we had Stephanie Scoro, who did a lecture about in 1891, 4 women from Lowell kind of explored the Boston Harbor Islands on their own, independent women who were kind of ahead of their time. So I felt like that fit that theme of promoting, women's independence. And then Sothia Chiemrom this week he's the executive director of the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association. He's going to be at the Visitor Center this weekend.
That's the National Parks Visitor Center.
Yes, National Parks
for
Visitor
people who...
Right, in Lowell.
Yeah, in Lowell, Mass.
In the Mills. And so he's going to come, and that kind of fits the theme of the immigration. So, it was challenging to kind of match up these speakers with different host sites and venues, but I feel like we have a good program, and I'm excited about it, and it's good to kick it off. This will be our 5th one, this will be our 6th one of the year, and we try to do about 12 a year, so we're about halfway done already.
Oh, okay, good. That's great.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised that seeing that you're the editor of the New England Baseball Journal.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get any sports figures here, writers.
They have had some sports figures in the past. No, I didn't this year, but that's something. Hopefully, I'll do it for a few years.
Yeah.
So, I'll use my contacts and hopefully get somebody who could draw some people in Lowell.
I think the head coach of the UMass Lowell hockey team would be interesting guest because a lot of people. Because a lot of people don't get to talk to him usually because he's so busy.
Right. So, yeah. And that was Admiral Gilday kind of did a different format, and I thought it really worked well. And you were there, obviously. Right. So it was at UMass Lowell's Comley Lane Theater, and he recommended.
That's on Broadway in Lowell, Massachusetts. I'm just talking for people who are not familiar with Lowell.
Right. Okay. And so anyway, he was in that theater, and what he wanted to do is kind of have opening remarks and then a little bit of a Q&A with some of the people on our board. Bill Samaras was there and John Carson. They were on stage with him.
The mayor was there.
And the mayor was there, Mayor Rourke.
Yeah.
And so they asked him a few questions. The city manager was also there.
Questions, to be honest with
you. They asked boring questions, and he answered a few of those. And then we opened it to the audience, and you participated in that. And that was interesting. And I think we might do some more of that because I think, that gives the audience a chance to interact. Like you said, if Coach Bazin did want to come on it would give the fans of the team an opportunity to ask him questions directly.
Yeah. It's because it looks like they're doing pretty good this year.
Oh, yeah, they always do pretty well.
Yeah. Last year they were kind of off.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a strange year last year.
But this year we had, who was it we had on the show? One of the assistant sports and communications
At UMass Lowell?
John, yeah.
Okay.
John, I can't remember his name, but we had him on last week, and
Oh,
so I interview a lot of people, and even with his new football team, the arena football team.
Yes.
That would
Yeah.
be interesting to get one of the owners to come on or something like that.
Yeah. No, I haven't been to one of those games yet. I'd like to go. They draw pretty well in Lowell.
Yeah, you know why? Because when the football gets kicked into the stands, the kids can keep the football.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's an interesting take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So tell me about Mr. Parker, because this school is named after Moses Parker.
Yes.
So I think there's a relationship
Okay.
of the Parker family from Lowell and Chelmsford.
Is there? Okay.
So I think. I mean,
It would make sense, yeah, because he was a very wealthy. So basically, early in his life, he was in the military and he was a doctor.
He was in the Civil War.
Yes.
Surgeon. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then they tasked him with building a hospital, and he did that. And then he came home, and then one of his good friends was Alexander Graham Bell. And so he was
Great friend to have.
early in the telephone game, and he felt like the way that the telephone system used to work is you would call the operator and say, hey, I need to contact this person. They'd look up the number.
The name.
Well, yes, yeah, and they'd punch it in. And he felt like if that person ever fell ill, what would you do? So they kind of came up with the telephone number system. So he was early in that. He ended up making a lot of money, and then became a philanthropist where he was giving back to the community. He had a lot of land holdings in Lowell, and so when he died, he established this trust for the speaker series. He also has the Parker Foundation in Lowell. So people in Lowell are still benefiting from his generosity.
Yeah. Exactly. So a guy from Lowell started the telephone numbers that you use today. It was started here in Lowell, Massachusetts.
That system, the phone number system.
So
Yep.
I don't know what your number is, but whatever number you have, that started basically in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Now, do you have to have the lectures in Lowell, or can you have them in Tewksbury, Drake, or?
Now that the requirement is that they have to be in Lowell.
They have to be in
Yeah,
Lowell.
so it has to be venues in Lowell. We'll do Boarding House Park, we'll do the library, we'll do UMass Lowell's Theater, Middlesex Community College Theater, the Whistler House, we've done the Quilt Museum, and there's plenty of venues. Some of these lectures only draw,
A handful of
30,
people.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
10, 20 people at the minimum, which is fine too, that's part of it. And the other requirement is we cannot charge anyone in attendance. They all have to be free.
Now, are they paid to come to the lecture?
The speakers are paid,
You
so
can
that's
you can tell me how much afterwards.
yeah, I'll tell you. The speakers are always paid, and it's a pretty, he established this fund where just based off the interest that it generates, you can pay the speakers, and it's enough to, you can see we draw some pretty big names.
Oh yeah, definitely, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And some great authors too.
Yeah.
know?
So, if anyone is interested, it's not something you have to pay for, so it's worthwhile.
Oh, that's right. It's free. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We didn't mention that.
Yeah, it's free. Every lecture is free.
Right. Yeah, just look it up. I mean, you could come from Chelmsford and go Westford or whatever community that you live in, Drake it, and you could do that. And it's a great lecture, because you meet these people one-on-one.
Right, and it's not, so like you said, it's required that the lectures have to be in Lowell, but you can come from anywhere. So if you're from Chelmsford, if you're from Drake, anywhere else, you're always welcome to attend these lectures. It's
That's
not
right.
restricted to
and
people.
Remember, there's not too many places that's free to see an author come in, and if you have their book, and they'll sign their book for you there after the lecture or maybe before the lecture.
We've had that, our last two lectures. We had Charles Shuttleworth was the member, he participated in the Lowell Celebrates Kerouac Festival. And so he went across the street to La La Books after the Lowell National Parks Visitor Center speech. He just walked across the street to La La Books and signed books. And then Stephanie Scoro did that again last Saturday for us. She walked right across the street and signed books at La La Books.
That's cool.
Yeah, and there were a lot of, there are people who love the book.
And we've had La La Books on the show, too.
Have you? Okay. Yeah, we have plenty of crossover.
Yeah. Yeah, they're nice people, and it supports the bookstore in downtown Lowell, which are not very many these days.
No, I know.
Regards to
Those small independent bookstores, now it's, all Barnes & Noble, so anytime you get a chance to support your local bookstore, that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I'm getting short in time, so I want to ask you specifically.
Yeah.
The editor of the New England
Baseball Journal.
Yeah. And you're the editor.
Yes.
How many writers are there for this?
So we have 3 full-time writers, and then we have probably 3 other freelancers that we'll use when we're putting out magazines. So we do 6 magazine publications a year, and then we update the website every day. And then I do a weekly podcast too.
Yeah, I did see that podcast. What's that about?
Oh, so it's a lot.
And
well,
what's the name of it?
Yeah, it's called the Base Path Podcast.
Oh, that's interesting.
So our audience is primarily, parents and players at the high school prep levels, all the way up through college. We don't do a lot of professional sports coverage. The Red Sox are covered by the Herald and the Globe and the Athletic and all these other. Yeah. So we kind of follow it all the way up through college. And our audience primarily is people who want to know, how can I go play Division I baseball? And they're playing, now baseball is almost a year-round sport with all these indoor facilities and training facilities.
Even lacrosse to a certain degree, it's not outdoor, it's indoor, a lot of that.
Yeah, almost all these sports seem to be kind of becoming year-round sports now. So anyway, what was I just talking about? The
who?
Yeah, the audience. Yeah. Okay, so they want to know, how is my kid going to be a D1 baseball player? What do I have to do? Do I have to play for this travel program? When do I start strength training? How do I get recruited?
Wow.
So the podcast is, we're having coaches on, college coaches, prep coaches. Hey, here's how I'm getting my guys recruited. The college coaches, here's what I'm looking for.
The portal.
Yeah. The portal now has just changed everything.
Exactly.
Now. So, or we'll talk to players who have success stories like, hey, maybe I got dropped by a school because the roster limits are tightening up and now all the recruiting is happening through the transfer portal. And they'll say, I lost my number 1 choice, but then this school, I went to this camp and then I got recruited this way. So we're trying to kind of use the podcast to give parents and players an idea of how do I get recruited? How do I go play?
Let me ask you this question. Should a player, male or female, sign up early or commit to a college early, or should they wait it out?
Well, the commitment is not concrete. It's not like a lot of times.
They say you sign the paper, etc.
Well, so you can't sign until November 15th of your senior year. So if you commit early, it's just a verbal commitment, and both sides will renege on those commitments. Like the school sometimes will say, "Hey, you suffered an injury.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna open our search and start looking for other guys. Keep your search open too." And sometimes the players, will explode one summer and they've committed to Bates College or a D3 school, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm a D1 player now, so I'm going to kind of renege on that commitment." So those early commitments, while it gives you a sense of comfort that, your search is over and you get to announce it on social media and everybody gets excited about that, they don't always hold, And so once you're signing senior year in November 15th, then it's pretty, cut and dry. You're going to go to this school, you're going to play.
Now, I always wondered, a lot of people sign in November or before, whatever.
Yeah.
They sign for 4 years. Is that a given in regards to scholarship?
No, that's the coaches, the coaching staff will reassess that every year. There are some schools that are better about honoring those commitments than others, but especially now with the transfer portal, you got a guy who comes into your school and he hits 215 his freshman year, and then you got somebody in the portal who hit 315 his freshman year. You might say, "Hey, we're going to scale back your scholarship money. We're going to give it to this person. You're welcome to stay as a walk-on."
So you should lock it in, that you should get a good lawyer or a good agent and lock it in?
No, you can't have an agent, if you're, or else you lose your eligibility. But Yeah, no, it's kind of all fair game in college athletics these days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, so let's put it this way. I always wondered this. They say that you're going to get a 4-year contract. Let's say it's football, and
Yeah.
you get an injury in your sophomore year, let's say,
Yeah.
and you can't play again. Do they have to honor that?
Yes, a career-ending injury they would have to honor, and I think that's covered by insurance. So the colleges would kind of seek an insurance policy, and then they would get the scholarship back to use. But yeah, you cannot repeal a scholarship due to an injury.
Okay. I'm talking to Dan Guttenplan. He's the director of the Parker Lecture Series. I know we got off on a tangent and started talking sports, but let's get back to that because I have like 4 minutes left.
Okay.
So the series is during the winter months, right? Usually?
Yeah, so primarily our busiest times, like we'll get going in September.
Okay.
September, October are busy. Then around the holidays, a lot of these theaters have, holiday productions and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we don't have as much in November, December. And then, even January is a little spotty. Excuse me. And then it kind of goes through the end of the school year. It's a school year schedule.
Oh, okay. So basically spring also.
Yeah.
And then summer, no series at all.
No, not in August. We do a couple of things at Boarding House Park during the Lowell Folk Fest.
Okay.
Or the week after the Lowell Folk Fest. So it starts again in August, I would say.
Yeah, okay. But when do you start planning for this? I mean, to get the authors or the speakers to come in. I mean, it starts this year.
Oh, it does, yeah. So I didn't start until June 1st after Paul retired. So I got a late start on it this year, which is why the program's printed a little bit later.
Right.
But no, I was just thinking the other day, like right after the first of the year, I think I'm going to start kind of lining up speakers for next year because you have to book people for September, October. You really can't wait until June. Especially the venues are a little bit trickier sometimes than the speakers. The speakers will give you, hey, I got these, 2 weeks wide open, and then the venues will say, hey, like we have a fall production.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of coordination, a little more coordination than I would have thought. And
Are these venues receptive to you in regards to when you say we want to have a lecture series at the Wilson Museum?
oh yeah, they've been great. They've been great, and you can't. So the other thing is, we can't charge the audience. All the lectures have to be free, and we can't pay for a venue. We can only pay for speakers. And all of these venues have agreed, hey, we want people from Lowell to come and check out our venue. We're willing to host for free too. So yeah,
cool.
these partners that we have been super generous and great to us.
So monetary, it's only the speakers that come in that you pay them some sort of fee.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird financial model. Like, he had some stipulations that even now I'm trying to kind of navigate around. Like you can't pay the venues. You can pay for programs. You can pay for audio,
You're
visual.
talking about programs like
Yeah,
this.
like these.
Okay.
You can pay for, marketing, Facebook marketing and stuff like
Okay.
that. But you can't pay the speakers. You can pay the speakers. You can't pay the venues. You can't charge the audience. So
Okay, cool.
it's kind of a weird financial model, but I'm kind of figuring it out as I go here.
Good luck. I mean, do you plan to be there 30 years?
Oh, I don't know. Who knows if I'll still be here around in 30 years? But no, I'd like to do it for the indefinitely.
Yeah.
This year was a really I kind of had to learn as I went and figure it out, and I feel like I'm not going to throw all that knowledge away after 1 year. I'm going to I think it'll get easier as I go. But yeah, and I love the mission, and the trust and the fact that we can offer this for free. So yeah, I'm going to stick with it.
All right. World Cup's coming up. You're going to talk about that in your sports, New England sports?
World Cup, yeah, we have New England Soccer Journal as well. So.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm excited about the World Cup. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I mean, it's just one of those things that sports, in essence. I went to the World Cup in 1994 when they had it in Foxborough.
Oh yeah.
With all 4 games.
The United States did well there.